Definitely, this is the most controversial launch of the year. On one side of the ring, we have a ton of different influencers all over TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, raving about this foundation, while on the opposite side of the ring, oh my goodness, we have the worst reviews, the worst foundation ever. It broke me out, it's overpriced. So today, we're gonna find out the real truth about the new Patrick Ta Major Skin hydra-luxe Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation. Can I make a petition to all the beauty brands out there? Stop naming your products so long. I mean, they have first, middle, last name, last name, the name of my grandpa, of my grandfather, of my great-great-grandfather. My goodness me, these names are just becoming insane. And for this review, I went ahead and purchased 3 different shades out of the 30 shades available. Each of these foundations costs $58. I will be leaving the details where to find it on the description box below, along with the links, also on the YouTube shop. If you're new here to my channel, welcome, and welcome to all of you, my beautiful friends. I film in natural light with a 4K camera. I'm considered a woman with mature skin. I like to say experienced skin. I do have more dry areas on the perimeter of my face, a little bit more of like normal skin right here on the middle of my face. I do have enlarged pores on this area where I have more of my sun damage. I do have some sunspots, a ton of freckles and fine lines, all that jazz. So we're gonna get close and personal to see how this foundation does on my skin. The packaging is super luxurious, double glass metal plate in the middle, beautiful cap with a P of Patrick Ta. The shade that I got here is shade 10 neutral. You're supposed to shake it really well before applying it. I'm gonna apply it also on my face so you can see the shade, and if you are a shade match with me. I think 10 is gonna be just too light for my skin tone. The foundation is not super runny. It does have some good consistency. Now, the claims of this foundation is that it will give you a radiant finish. It also contains 3 forms of hyaluronic acid to plump your skin, plant-derived squalane to visibly improve elasticity and diffuse fine lines. Again, this is the shade 10 neutral, and we are mid almost to end summer, so I do have tiny bit of color on my face, on my shoulders. So I think this shade is just a little too light for my skin tone, and I'm not using any artificial lighting. Everything is natural light. I have a lot of windows pretty much all around me, so you can see products in detail. I will highly suggest you to change the settings on your YouTube by clicking on the screen, and you will see a little kind of like a gear, and change the resolution to 4K. And if you're on a smartphone or tablet, you can zoom in and zoom out so you can see the details. The other shade that I got is 12 Peach. The foundation also contains kombucha, which is supposed to enhance the look and smoothness of your skin, the radiance of your skin too. Here's the shade 12 Peach. Now, my skin is not super smooth. I do have texture on my skin, a little bit of bumps. I get irritated super fast with any products that they just are too much for my skin. I do have very sensitive skin. Okay, looks a little bit too peachy, right? And this looks just a little bit too light, because during summertime, since my shoulders are exposed, I don't want to go with something too light. I like to kind of like match a little bit more my shoulders. That way I can take the foundation all the way to my neck. And this is the same reason why I got the third shade, 14 Golden. Now this looks a little too golden for me. But let's just shake it. And let's try and see. As you can tell, like I said, it's not super runny. It does have a good consistency. Okay, that's 14 Golden. I think this looks just a little bit too yellow. This is perhaps a pinch too peachy, too dark for me, but this is too light for my skin tone. So I think I'm gonna go with the shade 12 Peach. And if you're wondering, I do have a neutral undertone. Okay, let's go over these. 10 neutral, 12 Peach, 14 Golden. And I'm gonna let it dry so you can see the finish also on my hand. Going with 12 Peach. I know that Patrick Ta likes to do the underpainting technique. I'm just gonna skip it, and I'm just gonna do a regular technique. I like to apply these kind of foundations that they do have more of a skincare kind of ingredient with my hands first, and then spread it either with a sponge, depending how much coverage they have, or a makeup brush. Okay, definitely this has more of a medium coverage, and you can tell this has squalane. You see right there? It doesn't look greasy, but it does look dewy. I'm gonna spread it with a BK Beauty 109 brush. You know what? This shade, I feel like it's working on my skin tone really well. And like I said before, to me, this definitely has a medium coverage. I can still see my freckles peeking through, but I'm a walking freckle, so that's to say a lot. And I do still see my sunspots, like I have one right here, another one right here too. It doesn't feel heavy, it's lightweight, and I have skipped completely primer. I usually, like when I know a foundation, I tend to put a pore minimizer primer right where I have my enlarged pores. In this case, I have skipped the primer. I only have my skincare on, which Patrick Ta suggests that if you want to skip your skincare, you may do so, because this foundation has a lot of skincare ingredients, which it could be fine to me. I wouldn't say skip all your skincare routine, but perhaps this could work also as a moisturizer, so as kind of like your last step after your SPF, although some or most of the SPFs can also act as a moisturizer. Definitely you will have to see what works best for you. Using another half pump, this is not a full pump. I will say I have used almost a full pump on my entire skin. Going with a beauty blender, and I'm just gonna pounce the foundation. And this is a damp beauty blender. It doesn't have a lot of water in it, so it's not diluting too much the foundation. Just pressing it in. Okay, it's super lightweight. It honestly feels as I have nothing on the skin, but as you can tell, this side over here, it just looks still luminous, but not as, I don't want to say heavy, but as obvious as on the side where I spread it with the brush. And that is normal. Brush tends to give you the most coverage, while a beauty sponge in general, because it's spongy, it absorbs a little bit of the product and it gives you more of a natural finish. So I guess it will depend on you, how you want to go about it, but let's just build it up a little more. Taking a little bit here on the area where I have my enlarged pores, and I want just a tiny bit more coverage, and just spreading it with the same brush as before. You can definitely build it up. It doesn't feel heavy, but really I don't feel that there's purpose to build up too much this foundation. I think with that very light to medium coverage, I think that is just more than enough. Just to be even with the review, I'm just gonna apply a tiny bit, and this is on both sides, another less than a quarter of a pump. You know what? I'm happy with the shade. I thought it was going to be too off, but it blended really well. Now, if you don't have as many sunspots, freckles as I do, you may feel that this foundation is fully a medium coverage. To me, it's light to medium, but I said medium at the beginning because I know myself, I do have a ton of hyperpigmentation that most people do. But here it is a close-up of the foundation. See right there? It looks very nice. It looks pretty. It does have that luminosity. I don't feel that it's setting at all. Look at the swatches here. The foundation hasn't dried down because it does have that squalane, which is to be expected, that is not self-setting. I do own the shade Light Medium 3 on Patrick Ta's cream foundation. I just want to swatch it for you. This has a little bit more of, even what I will say, kind of like an olive undertone. I really love this foundation. This foundation has great coverage. It's super, super beautiful. Look at the difference between them. I mean, I use this foundation mostly when I have a true tan, but there you have it if you want to see the comparisons and difference between the different shades. And to see also the finish. This is not matte. It's more of like a natural finish foundation, but this one's definitely have that luminosity, a little bit of that dewy aspect to it. I'm going to use the Gucci concealer. Refer BO5 brush. Going with Chanel's cream bronzer, also Chanel brush, and the shade is medium. Again, all those details will be on the description box. And usually, again, if you're new here to my channel, if you haven't done so yet, you haven't subscribed, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. But I do also leave the description box as a pinned comment. And on that comment, I also mentioned any details about the product, how it wore. If I have any other thoughts about it, it will be there too. So while you're leaving your comment, make sure you check that pinned comment. Patricia, she is the moment. This is an amazing shade for summertime. Also going into fall, I think it just has that warmth to it. And I'm just using the cream portion of it. And I know you're going to tell me, well, you're supposed to use the powder and then the cream, blah, blah, blah. My point right here is I don't want to alter the foundation. I'm, in fact, not going to be setting the foundation at all. I know, call me crazy, not even my under eye area, because I want to give you a few check-ins. And by seeing the foundation, how it works all by itself, then depending on your skin type, you should be able to know, okay, I need to set it, this is too oily for me. And it also gives me an idea of what will benefit the foundation. If of a primer, whether pore minimizer or a primer to give more longevity to the foundation, and all those things. In fact, there was no claim, at least that I was able to see, on durability, hours of wear, and all of that. I didn't saw anything on the description of the foundation. Friends, a quick check-in right here. I haven't finished to create my makeup look. I actually got distracted because I got a phone call, then I needed to respond to a couple emails, and I didn't finish my makeup look. And right now I'm getting really hungry because I had been fasting and I just skip breakfast, so I want to get some lunch. But really quick, this is how the foundation is looking like. As you can tell, it doesn't have a full coverage. It's more of a light to medium coverage. You can still see my freckles, my texture, my pores. It's not gathering on my large pores. It's looking good, but this foundation is not self-setting. It's like it's still wet. If I was to hug, I don't know, someone, my kids, my husband, this foundation will definitely transfer. So it needs to be said if you don't want to, risk that. It has passed about 7 hours since I have applied this foundation. And I say the foundation because that was the only thing, well, along with the blush, the concealer, and the bronzer that I applied at the very beginning. It was kind of like a little bit of a wonky day. And I say that because unfortunately one of my kids is sick. And last night wasn't the best night. If you're a mom, you know what I'm talking about. You don't get to sleep well, and I had to do so many things today, but I was dragging the day because last night I couldn't sleep pretty much anything. But anyhow, friends, here's what you came for. This is how the foundation is looking like after so many hours of wear. I went ahead and did my eye look just for you to see me presentable. But talking about the foundation itself, I did not powder it, and I feel that it looks pretty good for so many hours of wear. I honestly feel that it looks lovely, beautiful. If anything, I feel that this side right here, the one that I did with a sponge, looks a little bit more natural because although I use the same amount of foundation than this side over here, as you can tell, this side looks a little bit more luminous. So I think it will depend on you, how you want not only the coverage or the look of the foundation. Definitely, this foundation is not self-setting. I don't want to say that you have to set it because if you know me, if you have been following me for any point in time, you know that I go out and about for my days without setting my makeup. That is just me. That's the way that I feel comfortable. Although I do appreciate setting powders and I feel that they are kind of like a must in certain occasions. I'm not necessarily the one that will use a setting powder all the time. That is just me. But anyhow, if you have, I will say, combination skin to almost oily skin, you will need to set it. Who is this foundation for? For any age, but mostly for those with dry to normal skin. Perhaps even lean-in combination can use this foundation. I will really not suggest it for one that have oily skin, and not because this is an oily foundation, but because it does have so many skincare emollient ingredients such as squalane. Hyaluronic acid, not that much, but it's the squalane that it could be a little bit tricky. Now, I'm very impressed about the longevity of the foundation because I thought at the beginning, okay, this is not gonna last too long. But as you can tell, my enlarged pores, they don't look emphasized. On my fine lines, the foundation is not gathering, and that's something very important to me because when it starts gathering too much at my age, starts looking quote unquote crusty and it ages you, and that's exactly something that I don't want from any foundation. Also, my fine lines right here is looking pretty nice. Even right here on my smile line, I don't see any gathering. If anything, like I said, I applied this foundation like almost 7 hours ago, and I have brushed my teeth. Water has come around this area, and I don't see patchiness as I saw on some TikTok videos. I think it was because some people are using, the beauty filter. It is okay, it's fine, but sometimes for foundations, it can give you the wrong impression. Okay, like to me, I thought, oh my gosh, that foundation looks really patchy, but it could have been the filter that such content creator was using. But anyhow, it's not looking patchy, but wherever the water, has touched this area, the foundation has faded a little, but just a normal thing. Now, to what other foundation this reminds me of? I think perhaps a combination between the new Fenty Beauty foundation, the one that is more moisturizing, a little bit to the Westman Atelier liquid foundation. Although the one from Westman Atelier is way more oilier, this is not that oily. It's not that slippery, sleek kind of foundation. It is a lovely foundation. More than a foundation, I feel like this feels like a skin tint. That is how it feels like a light to medium coverage kind of a skin tint. That's the way that it feels. Super comfortable, super lightweight, very beautiful finish. And because of the ingredients, I am impressed about the longevity. I didn't thought it was gonna wear this long. Now, regarding the Sephora reviews, one thing that got me a little bit concerned, there were some reviews stating that the foundation caused some breakage. There were some images, and those reviews have been taken out. Although it could be that those reviews are only available in Canada, because I noticed that some of the negative reviews were related to the price of the foundation, because in Canada, they were 81 Canadian dollars, and if converting it to US dollars, it will be a $75 foundation, while in United States the foundation is $58. So I see why those mixed reviews, and I cannot tell you that this caused me an allergic reaction. I'm one of those persons that my skin is very reactive. If something doesn't go well, I start itching on my jawline, and I start to get bumpy and just texture it and all that jazz. This is definitely not the foundation for a full glam. I will consider this foundation more of like an everyday kind of foundation, and as you can tell, it's looking really, really good. You tell me which side you like the most. The one that I applied it with the brush, the one that has just a little bit more of coverage, or this side over here that I applied it with a sponge. Let me know your opinion. I will love, love, love to hear from you. I would love to hear too, are you excited to try this foundation? Or perhaps you have already purchased it. Let's just continue that conversation in the comment section down below. While you're at it, and if you haven't done so yet, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you ring that post notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. If you enjoy the video, if it serves you of any help, please give it a thumbs up, share with family and friends. And if you're not done watching my content, well, guess what? I have over 1,000 videos in the period of 5 years. I know, I upload like crazy. I'm going to be leaving a couple other videos at the end of the screen that I'm sure you're going to love. Until the next time, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye!